If you're thinking of moving to the San Antonio area and you're wondering how much it really costs to live here, then stay tuned because we are going to dive into all of this information in today's video. Hi everybody, this is Amanda Grothues, your local real estate expert here in beautiful San Antonio, Texas. Here on my channel, I go over all the things that you need to know about our wonderful city of San Antonio. If you want to see more content like this, make sure you like, subscribe, and you hit that little notification bell right there. And every time I post a new video, you will get notified. Look, I get tons of buyers that reach out to me wanting to move to the San Antonio area. So if you are thinking of making a move to San Antonio, please reach out to me. You can give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, whatever works best for you. I'm here to answer all of your questions. All right, let's get started. I have been born and raised in San Antonio my entire life, and I love living here. I find the cost of living to be relatively low, but how low do you ask? Well, first, let's go over housing. For housing, we do rank as one of the lowest in the nation. Our median price in 2020 is hovering around the $240,000 mark. This makes renting actually pricier in San Antonio, and most of the time, you'll be making a better financial decision by buying a home in San Antonio, especially if you purchase soon, because as you might know, our home mortgage interest rates right now are super low in 2020. Now, depending on where you're moving, our cost of living might feel normal, but if you're coming from, let's say California, you're going to get a lot more house for a lot less. So let's do a quick comparison. I recently went on a girls trip to Santa Barbara, California, and being a realtor, I could not help myself but look up the home prices around where I was staying. A 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 2,800 square foot house built in 2015 and not right on the water costs a whopping $2.1 million. Now here in San Antonio, if you take that same size home and you're built the highest, guys, the highest home listed currently in San Antonio that fits that criteria is only $425,000. And the great thing about housing in San Antonio is that there's something for everyone depending on where you're wanting to move. There's new construction homes, downtown condos with city views, waterfront properties, ranches, mid-century modern, you name it, we have it here. You can look at San Antonio and the surrounding areas as wagon spokes. So inside 410 is your inner city downtown homes. Outside 410, but inside 1604 are suburban communities, and outside 1604 is where you start to find the more rural properties and communities on larger lots. There are, of course, a mix of all types of living in each one of these areas, but as a general guideline, that is how San Antonio housing is broken down. So, some things to do, or some things to consider when buying a home in San Antonio that you might not be familiar with where you're moving from is how our utilities and homeowners associations are paid. So some states, not all, but some states have utilities that are in a single bill each month. However, that is not the case here in San Antonio and all those surrounding areas. So each utility, electric, gas, water, and trash, they're all separated into different bills most of the time by different providers. It will take some getting used to, and especially if you're used to paying everything in one bill. However, don't worry, it will soon become second nature. And speaking of utilities, San Antonio is known for its dog days of summer. You can expect a higher electric bill during the summer months to keep yourself cool. And if you have a big backyard or you just like your grass green, your water bill will be high as well. But on the flip side, we don't get that cold in the winter months, so you'll make up some of those savings then when you don't have those high gas bills. So HOAs are homeowners associations. Not all communities have an HOA. However, a lot of the newer subdivisions will, and you do pay a quarterly or yearly fee to be a part of that neighborhood. I can't end our housing segment without first touching on property taxes in Texas. As you may or may not know, Texas does not have a state income tax. Yay. But we do have higher property taxes to make up the difference. They have to get the money somewhere, guys. So the average county tax rate in San Antonio as of June 2020 is 1.987%. On our median home, which was $240,000, this translates to roughly $4,769 in property taxes every year. So this is something to keep in mind when you're budgeting for a home. Unless you're putting that 20% down payment on a home, the taxes will be rolled into your monthly mortgage payment. So food costs. If you've heard of San Antonio, most likely you've heard of our incredible food scene. We have your German food in New Braunfels and Bernie, street food downtown, elevated cuisine, and everything in between. But first, before we get into that, let's talk normal everyday groceries. San Antonio's average food cost is about 17% lower than the national average. A gallon of milk will cost you $1.60. You can get a dozen large eggs for $1.50. A loaf of bread is around $2.75, and a bunch of bananas is $2.78. By buying groceries in bulk and limiting eating out in restaurants, you can maintain a healthy and filling diet in San Antonio for around $300 a month or under. But if you're like me and you love going out on the town and hitting up local restaurants, then your food bill will be slightly higher each month. We have all of your standard fast food restaurants that you can find across the nation, so you kind of already know what those will cost you. But if you're looking for a sit-down meal in San Antonio, you can expect to pay between, let's say, $12 to $20 a plate. Now, there are places that are significantly more than this, but as far as your average restaurant, that is what you can expect to pay. So we also have a lot of local breweries, wineries, places to go get drinks that are either in town or just a short drive away. So if this is more your scene, you can expect to pay between $6 to $10 for your average drink. Now this is all based upon personal preference, so you can go higher or lower depending on your lifestyle. Okay guys, so San Antonio transportation. Driving in San Antonio is relatively cheap compared to most metro cities. As a car owner in San Antonio, your biggest expense, besides the car itself, will be auto insurance. Our gas prices hover around $2.30 per gallon, which is 11% lower than the national average. However, our auto insurance premiums are around $225, while the national average is $131. So while owning a car in the Lone Star State, and especially San Antonio, is cheaper than the national average, between insurance, gas, title, and registration, you still need to budget accordingly if you're coming from a city where public transportation is more readily available than it is here. So entertainment. As we all know, the cost of entertainment can be quite pricey. However, there is a lot of free to low-cost attractions available in San Antonio. And the pricey attractions that attract all of those crowds, well, they're worth it, guys. And most residents don't live that tourist lifestyle every day. Away from the major attractions downtown, there are many residential communities that are peaceful and quiet to live in here in San Antonio and the surrounding areas. For locals, it truly is the best of both worlds as a day-to-day city. According to Payscale.com, San Antonio has a slightly higher cost of living than the national average, but the average job income is around $61,000 per year, which is well above the national average, which is only $32,000. This fact makes San Antonio a very financially solid place to live for most folks. That, combined with our warm, sunny climate and local attractions right at your fingertips, is what makes San Antonio the place to be. Now remember, all of these numbers I just covered are estimates and not specific to you. So if you're thinking of moving to San Antonio or the surrounding areas, reach out to me and we can find a home in your budget so that you can live the lifestyle that you are comfortable with. Be sure to like this video and comment below on any other subjects that you might want to see me cover. You can also download my handy relocation guide by clicking on the link below. So thanks again for watching and stay tuned for my next episode.